Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated for the presentation of the award and retirement. Attention to orders. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Legion of Merit to Master Gunnery Sergeant William F. Hornsby, United States Marine Corps, for service as set forth in the following citation. For exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding service while serving as Senior Marine Enlisted Advisor to the Director of the Close Combat Lethality Task Force, Office of the Secretary of Defense, from July 2019 to February 2023. Master Gunner Sergeant Hornsby demonstrated an unmatched level of expertise of the capabilities of close combat forces and future requirements of the operational environment. His knowledge of tactics, coupled with his ability to creatively envision how technology will provide tactical overmatch, he provided focused recommendations on close combat force personnel structures, tactical energy, and human performance initiatives that will significantly impact future generations of Marines, soldiers, and operators. He seamlessly collaborated across the Office of Secretary of Defense, the Joint Staff, and with the services to ensure that future close combat requirements were understood by all senior enlisted leaders, to include the Joint Chiefs. Simultaneously, he supported the infantry forces within the Marine Corps by sitting on numerous panels and boards focused on the future manning and equipment issues with Marine formations. Master Gunner Sergeant Hornsby's superior performance of duties culminated his 30 years of honorable and dedicated military service. Master Gunner Sergeant Hornsby's professionalism, perseverance, and loyal dedication to duty reflected great credit on him and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Marine Corps and Naval Service. Signed for the President, D.H. Berger, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents greeted, this is to certify that Master Gunner Sergeant William F. Hornsby, having served faithfully and honorably for 30 years of service, was retired from the United States Marine Corps on the first day of March 2023. Signed, David H. Berger, Commandant of the Marine Corps. From the White House. Dear Master Gunner Sergeant Hornsby, I offer my heartfelt congratulations and the nation's appreciation on the occasion of your retirement from the United States Marine Corps after 30 years of service. You answered the call to serve and have ensured Americans' freedoms remain steadfast and true. Your service in the United States Armed Forces is the embodiment of America's patriotism, undaunted and resolute. You represent the best of who we are, and we can never fully repay you for the countless sacrifices you made while serving. You leave a lasting legacy of courage and commitment to our nation, inspiring future generations to follow in your heroic footsteps. I hope you look back with tremendous pride on this significant accomplishment. It has been my great honor to serve as your Commander-in-Chief, and I thank you for your noble service. Jill and I extend our best wishes on your continued success in the coming years. May God bless you, and may God protect our troops. Joe Biden, Commander-in-Chief, President of the United States. Certificate of Appreciation for service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America. Master Gunner Sergeant William F. Hornsby, USMC. I extend my personal gratitude and sincere appreciation of a grateful nation. appreciation to you for your patriotic service to our country. Your bravery and dedication in our armed forces help protect your fellow Americans during a critical moment in our history and contributed to a world of greater security and growing prosperity. Your devotion to duty, honor, and country, in keeping with the long traditions of the finest military in the world, embody the American ideal of selfless service. Our nation owes you an incredible debt. Your commitment and the example you set will inspire future generations to serve with pride and to keep our country secure. You represent the best of our nation, and I join our fellow Americans in saluting your honorable service. I wish you happiness and success in your next chapter. Joe Biden, Commander-in-Chief, President of the United States. Dear Master Gunner Sean Hornsby, the Marine Corps has been your profession for the last 30 years. You have served with distinction. Many aspire to be a Master Gunner Sergeant, but those who achieve it are few, and it must clearly demonstrate the exceptional leadership qualities we have come to expect of our senior Marines. You have reason to be proud of your most successful career. As a teacher to young Marines, a source of wise counsel, and as an example of those soldierly virtues we so admire, you have made a mark on the Corps that will remain long after you have left our active ranks. There are many young Marines who have influenced who will carry on in the same fine tradition that has always characterized the United States Marine Corps. You have my best wishes for good health and continued success in the years ahead. Semper Fidelis. David H. Berger, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Dear Master Gunner Sean Hornsby, on the occasion of your retirement, I would like to extend my congratulations and heartfelt thanks for your many years of dedicated service and selfless devotion to our country and Corps. You have made tremendous contributions and sacrifices throughout your Marine Corps career. As you prepare to enter this new chapter of your life, you can look back with immense pride and satisfaction on all you have accomplished. You have set an example of professionalism and leave a standard of excellence for all Marines who will carry on the legacy of our Corps. My wife, Stacy, joins me in wishing you continued success in the future. Semper Fidelis. Troy Black, 19th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. This flag, the accompanying American flag, was flown over the basic school in Camp Barrett, Stafford, Virginia, on the 23rd of February 2023 in honor of Master Gunner Sergeant William F. Hornsby, in recognition of 30 years of faithful service since graduating boot camp. Signed, R.J. McClam, Commanding Officer, the Basic School. Ladies and gentlemen, the retiring officer, Colonel Mark Beebe.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
First of all, I want to thank Beau and Beth for an opportunity to be here and have the privilege of telling Beau's story. I am mindful of the audience. They asked me if I needed a microphone. I said no for a couple of reasons. First, as you know, Master Guns will do, they eat their own. They said that most of you are wearing hearing aids and you probably couldn't hear anyway. The truth is, as a colonel, I know that most of you have already turned your ears off. That's the real reason. So I'll talk to the folks up here. But it is a distinct honor to be able to share a few notes about Beau Hornsby. And how do you summarize 30 years of commitment to Corps and country? Some of you were hoping that I would do so briefly. And so we've got a small group of people here. And so what happens is when Beau asks for a quiet affair, it's also a reflection of two things that draws a crowd like this. One is the extraordinary respect that your reputation brings, and two is the prospect of free food. And so that, I think, Beau is probably closer to why we have a lot of folks here. I would like a moment to talk about faith. There's a lot of buzzards in this room, and every one of us have been through countless awards, promotions, retirements, you name the ceremony. And in our DNA, we talk about the unit, we talk about the mission, we never talk about ourselves, and before we forget, we talk about our families. Our families come last. So for 30 years, Beau has sacrificed, and I want to talk first about what made it possible. That's Beth. 25 years of marriage. 25 years of marriage. That's extraordinary. And one thing I'm a boot to you, brother, because my wife and I will celebrate our 20th in a couple of months. So remarkable that you, too, have kept it together, and you, Beth, have supported as long as you have. You may not know, fun fact, Beth started as a corpsman, so in her DNA is service of helping Marines, still trying. Okay? You may also not know that she pursued a degree in psychology just so she could better understand that puzzling mind, which is Hornsby. So I want to say thank you, Beth, for everything that you continue to do for this guy. Ethan. Ethan is in that anxiety-inducing phase called awaiting college acceptance letters. Has his eye on Notre Dame. So there's probably two thoughts that most of you would have about that. One, what a prestigious university it is. Two, oh my God, you're going to need 3 jobs. So, Ethan, what I would commend you to do is be thoughtful and deliberate when you get accepted to the University of Notre Dame, and pick the appropriate 8-year degree program. Jack loves race cars. Well, why wouldn't he? It's like a barn find waiting to happen at the Hornsby residence. Man likes himself some German automobiles. All right? Another fun fact. Getting ready to turn 16, right? All right, so what I would suggest you do, one of the reasons why your dad told me he got the property he did, is you've already got a pit crew ready-made at home. You got Ethan, you got Lauren, you got Beau, and you got all kinds of sweet rides. So grab some keys and tear up that property around the house. Get some laps in for that NASCAR experience. Your dad would be so happy. Mom, too. Lauren comes from a remarkable place. The true angel that's going to break this guy's back one day. Going to break his back. But Lauren, following service not from father, but basically from mother, wants to help wounded warriors at Walter Reed. What an extraordinary calling at such a young age. And by the time you get there, we're going to be at it again, and we're going to need help from great people like you. Liam, cut like this part. Smarter. I mean, I don't mean cut like that, okay? Liam likes to make people laugh. He's got a great sense of humor. That's what he gets from his father. And I tell you what, little Liam, you need to keep that about you, because good, honest, healthy humor is something we so desperately need, so never outgrow that. All right, little buddy? Okay, so what to say about Beau? That can be repeated in church. We got family. All right. So I picked 3 words, and everyone here has some experience with Beau, and so you'll have your own, but I chose humility, I chose servant leader, and I chose humor. My number 1 attribute, by the way, Beau, is forgetfulness. So if I blow it and just start riffing, just keep it, okay? But let's talk about humility. So Beau's not in his Charlies or anything like that, all right? Because that would mean he'd wear his robes, and that's too much for Beau. Beau would never do that. Beau doesn't like talking about himself. So I asked for a couple of things to help me prepare to tell Beau's story in a way that Beau will never tell for himself, so his family can hear it. so you can appreciate what Beau has done for us. So I asked for a copy of his bio. For those that have those, you'll see it's a severe understatement of what Beau Hornsby has done for this country. Brother, you got to get some chat GPT, by the way. It'll smooth that out. It'll make you look a lot better than you really are. But here's what I also want to talk about. I'm going to talk bottom row and top row. So when you look at Marines, we're judgmental. We want to know where you've been and who thought something about you worth writing about. So first fact about Beau. He has 8 Sea Service deployment ribbons. Now, spread across 30 years, that may not seem like a lot. True, it's fewer than some. It's more than most. Let me give you a little bit of a calculation. That is somewhere around 4.5 to 5 years away from his family. 4.5 to 5 years. That's not all the stuff in between. That's time away from family. That's a lot of days and a lot of memories lost. There's another interesting element, though, that I would put against Sea Service deployment ribbons that Beau has, and that's that he has 10 campaign medals or expeditionary medals, which is to say that every time Beau left, he went somewhere of consequence. You can go to fun places. You go to Norway and freeze some elements off. You go to Okinawa and you can get big spiders in the face and all kinds of stuff. But 10 expeditionary medals, campaign medals, means that where Beau went is where the nation needed. And it also meant that Beth and the family were struggling to keep it together at home because they weren't able to talk to where Beau was, and Beau couldn't talk about where he was in many cases. He's got the usual unit awards. He's got all of them that can be had. He's got 13 personal awards. He's been awarded and commended for exemplary service by the Army, by the Navy, by the Marine Corps, and as you just heard, by the Office of the Secretary of Defense. Other fun fact, in all of those awards, only one good conduct award. Not surprising. So when I talk about where has Beau been, operating forces, that's 2 MEF, that's 3 MEF, that's MAR-4 PAC. In the supporting establishment, those are impactful positions at the basic school, training rookies like me. That's the School of Infantry as a combat instructor. That's a grind the School of Infantry is. He's been at Manpower. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. He's been to 4th Marine Division and of late at the Office of the Secretary of Defense. He has made an extraordinary impact everywhere he's gone. You have a phenomenal son, brother. You've got a phenomenal husband, and your father is extraordinary. Okay? Servant leader. Beau is gracious with his time. Beau never gives of himself, never asks of himself. He's always asking, what can I do for you? I also asked Beau to send me that award that OSD wrote for him so I could read it. There's some interesting things, but it wouldn't surprise any of you that know Beau Hornsby. Before Beau ever arrived, he was already reaching out to ask what could he do to enable them and help them before he even arrived. Most people are thinking about, well, I've blown at least. I've given up 30 days of leave so far. Maybe I can squeeze in a couple of weeks, spend some time with family. Beau does some of that. But he's also giving to the commands he's at, and at the same time giving to commands where he's going. That's just an amazing degree of giving. Everywhere he goes, Beau gives of himself first. I'm just messing with you. Gives of himself last. All right? So it's a remarkable servant leader. The last thing is just humor. Beau has an unebbing style to him, if not a little bit of mischievous humor. And I know the family, I know he's got it. And some of the old buzzards remember family-appropriate humor, but do roast Beau at his expense. If no other reason, to make you feel better about yourself, that's what I do. So there's lots of good stories about Beau, and I hope you share them today. But he's got a fantastic bit of humor to him. And so when I think about that, all I'm doing, Beau, is I'm taking, but only a sliver, hard to do justice to 30 years of service and 30 years of sacrifice. But I want to say from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of a great nation and a great Corps, that what you've done, you are an amazing Marine, Beau. You are one of God's blessings that I can call you my friend. And I want to say thank you for having us all a part of this time today. Ladies and gentlemen, Master Gunnery Sergeant Beau Hornsby.
A lot of you out there. Not the roast I thought I was going to get. I've seen him throw some roasts. Thank you for all the kind words. So in order to not screw this up, I'm going to start with family. This is really going to be a thank you tour up here. I promise not to keep it but to a few minutes. But none of this was really possible over the course of the last few decades without you. So thank you. Question a lot. I've known some guys a really long time. I'm looking at you, Jamie Johnson. I've known some of these guys a really long time, and here's a very fair question in our line of work. When Jamie would like see me 10 years later and say, "Hey man, you still married?" "Yeah." "To the same girl?" "Yeah." That's a fair question, right? Nope. So I've been proud to say, for 25 years I've answered the question exactly the same every time. All right. So thanks, Mike. Again, none of this ceremony would not be possible if it wasn't for Andy. Where's Andy Anderson at? If it wasn't for Andy, he knew I would not have a ceremony, as I'm kind of, if we were a big biker club, like my lower rocker would say Nomad, I wouldn't really have a home. So with no unit, I wouldn't have done this at all. But he knew that if he scheduled the symposium for this week, when you guys were here, the only people in the Marine Corps I really truly care about anymore, he knew that I would do it. He would force my hand. He was right. He bluffed me. I blinked. Here we are. You can eat mission barbecue later. So thank you. I've enjoyed nothing more, very few things more, professionally, than being -2 for you. All right, so that's kind of the code that we had at PPNO, and Andy is, by right and title, the infantry outfield sponsor. I'm the guy that just shows up and says, "Hey, what do you need?" And put me in, coach. And it's been, I think we've had a pretty phenomenal team. I think Brandon, thanks for stepping in this afternoon, doing the thing. I always appreciate you letting me in inside the box there at Manpower, continue to do the do. My hero today is Harold Rivera, Master Gunning Basic School. He's the guy that actually put this together. So let's give him a shout out. Travis literally pulled a bow and just showed up and went, "Hey, what can I do?" And found a way to be useful. And that is what's got Travis where he is now. And Travis, I want to give you a public shout out. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I've got guys from almost every single command, to include my very first platoon once I hit the fleet. Driving up from Florida, flying up from Florida, driving down from New York. My first mentor in the Marine Corps, Dave Stagliano, the guy who, between him and Derek Jackson, they were going to ensure that I was, how we said it, they were going to apply the correct pressure in order to mold me into the program that I would conform. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm not going to go around the whole room, I promise. Justin, your retirement ceremony was the ceremony I thought. Then that's it. That was it for me, because you said the kindest words anybody's ever said about me professionally out loud. I can't even believe I am now in my own ceremony, but I want to give you a shout out like you gave me a shout out. You were 50% of the Master Gunnies I implicitly trusted with whatever was really going on in my head. And you're still a good friend. You're still a good friend to the community. And I want to thank you for that. And I want everybody else to know that even today, right now, you are still a friend to all of us and still working behind the scenes at the School of Infantry, talking to who you talk to do what you have to do to make sure that we get the ball down the field just a little bit every day. So thank you for that, my brother. This is a phenomenal crew here. Thanks for coming up from Florida. I know it was a pain to get on the plane at like 2 o'clock in the morning. But my mother made it up here. She doesn't come up to see me very often. It's a long way from home here, right? So my sisters ferried her up here. For that, I thank them all. Thank you. That being said, want to stand up here and say much more. There are so many things I can say for like so many of you Master Gunnies standing out there, like who bring something unique to the fight. That from my perch up at OSD and working with PP&O, I see what it is you do. And I would challenge you to sit down, reflect, and think a minute on that, and know what it is that you're bringing to the fight, and then know that we appreciate that. Because I know he does. I know I see it. And if I can see it, I know he sees it. So that'd be the blanket for all the Master Guns out here. But know that there are a great many of you out here that you're really doing some special things, and continue to do those. My task force people, thanks for making the drive down from the Big 5 side of the wind tunnel in that surrounding area. I know it was a pain, but thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for bringing it. And thanks for being my boss for a third time. I've gotten I don't know how many sets of orders because this guy keeps like, hey, I got a deal for you, and I keep biting on it. Anyway, what were we supposed to do next? Whatever you want. I would like to sit down and you continue to do your thing. Can we do that? Okay, I'm going to do that.
At this time, flowers are being presented to Master Gunner Sergeant Hornsby's wife, Beth, and mother, Beverly, in appreciation for their dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of traditional service songs, Anchors Away, and the Marine's Hymn. You are reminded to sing the first verse of the Marine's Hymn as the music is played.
Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. We will fight our country's battles through the air, on land and sea. First to fight for rights and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for your attendance. Semper Fi.
Hoorah!
One more thing. Hank Rimkus. And this isn't part of the ceremony, so I couldn't do it. I had to wait till the end and then jump out like, I need to know my thing. Hank, please show everybody the fabulous thing you made. I do not want everybody to leave without seeing the work that this guy put into making a thing for me.
Oh, wow.